Are you confused? I'm confused. I don't even know what just happened. I'm still trying to process it, but I know that a lot of things happened right here. Sexton, Cincerello, Muskin, Faulkner in practice. I mean, look at this. I mean, you saw what it looked like when they groomed it. It was all perfect. And then this is the end of the 450 main. I mean, look at the braking bumps on the outside. Take a look. And of course, those guys were burying it in that corner in the beginning. I think they were just going way too fast. I have a souvenir too. I think this is Justin Barsha's. He lost a bunch of time late, and I'm waiting for a text to confirm, but I think this is Barsha's. Come on, let's take a look though. So, obviously 2 step lines right here, but look what happened just over time, 20 minutes. This is what it turned into. Full-blown braking bumps. Turned into a graveyard. I mean, the Cincerello fall just buried it, the front end. The Sexton one was brutal. I think he just got a little bit too much power coming out. Let's take a look at this lip though. Okay, so as gnarly as this was, and it obviously claimed some riders, some cool things did happen though. The inside, they started slowing up and kind of getting patient finally, and then cutting and seat bouncing this thing with literally like no run. I mean, there's no traction here. This is pure ice. And then right here, just committing and getting the 3. But this section was brutal. The track crew is gonna join me, I think, in a little bit. So hopefully they come back in here. They're gonna talk to me about this because this was changed a little bit. So I'll get some info from them. But yeah, pretty much just the graveyard of round 2 took out a bunch of people. But all right, let's go look at some other stuff. Come on. So check this out. Early in the night, you saw everybody just 3-3ing so fast. I mean, you saw those low lap times, but this is what eventually happens. And late in that 450 main, you could see the guys kind of like triple. They're in the air, they like slow up a little bit, and then they pop. But look at this. Look at these. These frames. I mean, they're framing this and still doing it. I mean, it's not like they're framing and doubling. They're framing and still tripling, which these guys are psycho. I'm not kidding, they're psycho. Let's go look at the whoops. Come on. Okay, so we're on our way to the whoops. So Tomac gets the win, which was so big for him. I don't know if he would have won if Sexton and Cincerello didn't go down. They seem to have more speed. They were checking out on him a little bit. So, I mean, he's obviously, he said on the podium he's going to take it, but he needed that win. Looked pretty good. Even late in the race, he kind of lost some space to Osborne. Osborne was getting to him. And then, dude, just, he turned it back up and got the win. He needed that so bad for the points. I mean, that 13th, you put a 13th on the scorecard, and that's your bad one. You pretty much can't do another bad one. But now that everybody has had a bad one, he's kind of back in this thing. It's like not a big deal. He's in it. Osborne, I'm so bummed he blew it. He was second. I mean, he was making a run and he lost all those points. He would have been in a really good spot in the points too. Dylan Ferrandis, are you kidding me? I mean, sometimes you look on the results sheet and you see a result and you're like, oh, good job, but it doesn't really match the eye test. He looked so good all day. Fought in that main event and just chipped away and got guys, got Webb in the middle, pulled away from Webb. Insane ride for Dylan Ferrandis. But it's the old boy, Justin Brayton. I can't even believe it. That guy is 37 years old, like in a month. And he fought for 20 minutes plus 1 lap with pressure all over him. Kenny was on him, never cracked. Everyone else flying around him, crashing around him. Justin Brayton, 36 years old, on the podium, which is insane too, because that's a private team. I haven't seen that in a little while. That's a private team, that's not a factory team. I mean, they got some support and some help, but unbelievable. All right, let's go look at the whoops, come on. Okay, so you guys have seen over the years when the track gets beat up, the whoops get broken down. Even on TV, I've done some track reports before, but it's real quick and it's far away. I want to show you up close and personal what it really looks like. First off, let me start at your feet. These are the ledges, okay? This is what happens about, I don't know, 450 heat race, okay? all the way across. These guys don't know where to go. They start looking for a low line, but this is what happens all the way across. But eventually they all find the one line and they all stick to it. So loop around right here. Coming out of the corner, you could see him kind of roll in, trying to hit this one there, pop 3. And here's the crazy part, come in close. They're landing in this one, which you think would be good, but there's a hump in it. So they're trying to get a lift, but they can't lift here, so they gotta like kind of lighten up and then lift, and then try to triple out. So you kind of understand, right? It gets beat up everywhere, but then eventually everyone kind of finds the flat spot. Ends up being right up the middle. I mean, dude, these were whoops at one point. I can't believe how beat up the track got. Honestly, it held up all night until that 450 main, and then it really, really got beat up. But all right, that's the track. I'm gonna head back over to the sand, catch up with the Dirtworks guys, get a little report from them. Let's roll. Okay, I got some track crew, but now I have to be safe. This is disgusting. Whose is this?
So you gotta wear it to be on the track. Make it work.
All right, safety first. He's gonna walk me through something. Now, this is what I heard, you confirm or deny. This wasn't supposed to wrap all the way around, but I heard because the rhythm section would have just been a simple 3-3-3, we made it wrap around a little bit. That way we formed some different lines, which obviously created the rhythms and the options.
Yeah, so we widened the sand section so there'd be 2 different lines. And then the sand started to drag closer to that first jump. So 3ing in was harder to do. But when the sand got closer to that first 3-footer, then it was that 2, 3, 4.
Yep.
So the quad is pretty dangerous. We obviously don't really plan for things like that.
Yeah,
so,
you got to start looking out. These guys are psychopaths.
So we pulled the sand back a little bit away from the first jump. So 3ing in was then easier, which then kind of canceled out the quad for the most part.
And they still found a way to get to it. And then they started 3ing out of the inside.
Yeah, but not as many people I think would have. I think pulling the sand back helped sing less riders' quad.
So, okay, so what do you do when you build something that's not meant to be done and these psychopaths do it? And now you have to like make the adjustment because you, again, like the quad was cool, but it's not what, that wasn't the design, right? You didn't have that planned?
James Stewart was kind of infamous for doing things that we never thought he would do, so.
So how do you adjust in that moment? I get just a little adjustments to lip faces or what when they start doing something like that?
We can't make changes between times qualifying, so there's kind of like a certain gap in our maintenances when we're able to do a major change. And then when we make a major change, AMA has to let all the riders know beforehand because they've already been on the track that day. So it's not like a surprise to them, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, when we lay out the lanes and before we start building, we always look at possible quads and try and make certain things steeper so it's not doable.
Try to make it undoable, and then crazy Zach Osborne, I think he was first, just rock.
Yeah, he was messaging me about it.
Huh.
And
you're like, dude, don't.
I know.
And then, hey, I mean, it was fine. It was sick. I did a TV report on it, and it ended up being pretty rad, but I know you guys aren't looking for that.
No.
So obviously, this ended up being a graveyard tonight. Everyone crashed. Is that just because they were hitting it too hard? Because, I mean, okay, take a look. This is all built up with dirt because this was dirt before. Yeah. The sand is put on top. Were they just bearing it too hard in the opening laps? Because once it got rough, it wasn't as bad, but it seemed like the smoother it was, the more crashes, like they were just attacking it too hard.
Yeah, they were just hammering in as faster and faster. I mean, we built this curb to hold all the sand in.
Just to keep it in?
Spill out. But you can see it just keeps getting pushed wider and wider and wider. I was stoked that there was, multiple lines through it.
Yeah.
Because it's a 90-degree sand turn. You would think there would just be that one line.
It ended up being good. Passes, Ferrandis passed Brayton by inside triple.
I was super happy with the track. I think the rhythm lanes worked good. I think we just need to look at maybe making the lap times a little bit longer. How
do you do that? I mean, you're in a football stadium, you're in a rectangle. I mean, unless you're putting walls everywhere,
which we don't. Personally, I'm not too stoked on putting walls everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think the riders want it either, but at the same time, how do we get to 50? It's like hard. I mean, what do you do?
This next track, I think, is going to be
slower or
a bit
longer lap time?
Yeah, so we'll see what happens.
Hey, so do you get feedback? Because I can tell you as a former rider, I hated sand.
Yeah.
Now I like it because it does weird things, and I like anything weird that makes. I'd rather see the guys have to fight through something.
Yeah.
What do you guys get pushback from the riders though? Because I know they don't like it, but it's kind of like too bad, you know?
Well,
like what do you do when they tell you they don't like it?
I mean, look at that main event. Look at how many champions are in that class and how consistent they are. It's like anything we can do to create a little inconsistency, I think makes for good racing. You know,
Again, they all came in hot and buried and crashed. You're not building the sand for crashing. You're building it for the challenge, and then they take it how they want to take it. Again, Marvin fell over. He didn't weed up. He just fell in it. That's part of the challenge, right?
We don't really get too much negative feedback from the sand. I mean, unless in the past when there's like a vert wall before it and they all get roosted. But for the most part,
2 riders in opening ceremonies I was talking to, both are not fans of it, and one of them ate some of this tonight.
Yeah.
He had a big sand sandwich.
Okay.
And I felt bad when he went down because I was like, oh, he just told me how bad he hates it. And I was like, ah. But yeah, as a former racer, I didn't like it. But now I like it because, again, it throws in a curveball on a track that the guys get a flow, and then this ruins it, which I like that. Yeah. Is that the method with this too? Is just throw something in there to kind of throw it off.
I guess so. I think the riders would be more into the sand sections that's kind of like on the straightaway where you're just kind of hammering
like
through.
Tampa, but that was gnarly. Remember when they were jumping in, and I mean that was a whole straightaway of beach sand.
I just feel like when it's in the corner, you get a little more of the front end's getting buried. So hopefully, I mean, there's not a sand section on every track. There is one for Houston 3.
Where's it at?
This connects.
The other way now?
Yeah, so this is a left-hand turn, and then it rollers all the way down, roll turn.
Where's the start going?
2 lanes in.
Oh, that's right. It's like in the middle, huh?
Yeah, yep.
Okay, I did see that.
So the start's kind of sandwiched in.
All right.
So this is a 3-day build now, and we're relocating the gate, finish line, everything's getting torn down.
You did the last one in 48 hours, right? So this is a 3. That was a 2-dayer. This is a 3-day build.
But if you notice, this track was the same path.
Exactly. Just turned it around.
Yep.
All right. Thanks for your time, bro. I appreciate it. And turned out to be amazing. I mean, that was a wild night. So you guys built the course that the dudes do battle on, and they were all over it tonight. So kudos.
Looking forward to Houston 3.
All right, 250 class. Jet Lawrence is phenomenal. I mean, okay, so at the first race, I thought he rode a little nervous. He just didn't seem like he was attacking really. He was just kind of going through the motions, made the mistakes, and look, he's a kid. I think he was nervous, but today there was so much purpose with every single lap. I saw him in qualifying. He was getting out front. He was attacking. Heat race, pulls the filthiest hole shot, takes off, just, you know, finally showing us everything that we thought he had. And in that main event, when he got out front, I'm thinking, okay, he's maybe mid-race, he's gonna fall apart a little bit because he's still a kid. I don't know, maybe he's gonna get in his own head. And he even admitted to me on the podium, he said he started thinking about Anaheim and like had to correct mid-race and be like, hey, stop, like don't think about Anaheim. Like I'm a new me. And he figured it out like really quickly. He said it was like a lap. He just kind of freaked out. And then he gets back on track. Unbelievable, just incredible ride from him. And I mean, it was just, I mean, we got to see a 17-year-old phenom, kind of all of it come to fruition. So I was super impressed by him, and there's more coming from that. Look, that was not a one-time deal. There's no question we're gonna see that a whole lot. And the scary thing is once he kind of figures out how to do it and gets that formula, hey Bonda,
Stop, Daniel.
thanks. Once he gets that formula, they're in trouble because he's a good starter. He obviously can do the whoops. He can he's obviously, I mean, unbelievable, right? We just saw it.
Hoping whoever has it brings it back.
Thanks, guys. Thank you. So yeah, I mean, what you saw, get used to it. That's all I'm saying. Get used to it. That kid has talent pouring out of his ears. He could lease some out. He could rent some to somebody and still have enough to get it done. So great ride from him. Colt Nichols and Christian Craig, Star Yamaha guys, just not the best night. Obviously, they got some weird starts. They were in a battle, but they come around 2-3, and the reason why is because of the Faulkner-Hampshire deal. And look, this is my honest opinion, and I'm going to be straight up honest with you. Everybody's going to watch what happened and have their own thought based on a lot of variables. For me, that was a 100% pure racing incident. RJ has a little bit of a wash, comes down. Austin wasn't going in to be dirty. He was just putting himself in the middle. I don't think either were at fault. That's dirt bike racing. Sometimes things just happen and it was not intentional. Both guys are probably frustrated, but really, I don't think either one are to blame. That just happens. So for those of you that are gonna be really mad at Faulkner, I'm not gonna argue, I get it. And for those of you that say RJ, you know, washed out into him, I'm not gonna argue that point either because it's the truth. But I will say, that is Supercross, that is racing. It's just unfortunate that it happened to happen to those two. So congratulations to Jet Lawrence. Congratulations to the star guys, Colt Nichols and Christian Craig. Watch out for Colt Nichols too. I have a little feeling that Saturday night I think he gets his first win of the season. That's just a feeling. But 250 class was off the hook, 450 class off the hook. I hope you guys enjoyed the breakdown, and Saturday night we'll try to do something. I got a couple ideas. I have a guest that I might want to bring on, but it's dependent on something. So we'll catch you in the next one. Quick follow-up. I got some confirmation. Justin Barcius. It was his.